It's an ordinary afternoon. You're driving home. Sunlight through the windshield. A song plays. Kids ride bikes past quiet, tidy houses. Nothing about today feels different. Yet. Then every phone around you screams at once. What would you do in that instant? A siren rises somewhere across the city. You pull over. Your hands are shaking. On the radio, a calm voice interrupts. Somewhere, a screen just lit up red. A clock starts counting. Minute 0 begins. This isn't a story about weapons. It's a story about people and systems. The systems built to protect you. Now, far above you, satellites are always watching. They watch for one very specific thing. A flash of heat no camera should see. That flash just reached a satellite sensor. Down on Earth, a dish starts turning. Inside, a screen blinks awake with data. This whole network has a simple job. Turn a flash of light into minutes of warning. Every second in this chain matters enormously. The people running it train for years. Tonight, their training becomes very real. One of them reaches for a phone. The first call of minute 0 begins. This place is called a warning center. Real ones exist in countries worldwide today. Analysts here watch data, not headlines. Their job, tell true signals from false ones. False alarms have happened before, historically. That history is exactly why checks exist. Tonight, 3 separate systems confirm the same signal. Radar confirms it. Satellites confirm it. A third system, quieter, agrees as well. The senior analyst takes a slow breath. Then she picks up the red phone. Her voice must stay perfectly steady now. Minute 2. The message is already moving. Every warning system fears one thing most. Being wrong could cause needless panic. So a strict checklist runs before anyone acts. Step 1. Do 2 sensors agree? Step 2. Does the timing make sense? Step 3. Rule out a satellite glitch. Here, all 3 boxes are checked yes. This is what analysts call high confidence. High confidence means the clock keeps running. How fast can a message reach the top? Real systems are built for under 10 minutes. That is the entire goal of tonight's chain. Minute 3. The message reaches a new desk. Every nation with these weapons keeps a hotline. It exists for exactly this kind of moment. History gave us the first one, decades ago. Leaders built it after a very close call. Its whole purpose, prevent tragic misunderstanding. Tonight, an operator's hand hovers over it. Not to threaten, to ask a question. What is happening on your side, right now? Communication, even now, still matters most. Minute 4. The line connects both sides. Neither side wants what happens next. For now, everyone is only trying to understand. Across the city, a phone rings in darkness. A leader wakes to the worst possible news. Somewhere else, an official grabs his coat. A car is already waiting outside, engine running. No time for breakfast. No time for calm. Every second between here and safety counts. The car pulls away into empty streets. Motorcycle escorts appear from a side road. This convoy has one destination only. Minute 5. The convoy reaches its gate. Below ground, a very different room waits. This is where the hardest decisions get made. The leader steps inside. The door seals shut. This room has a plain, official name. Screens line every wall, glowing with maps. Around the table sit very different experts. A scientist explains what the data shows. A diplomat asks about the hotline call. Everyone here has practiced this exact meeting. Drills, though, never quite feel like this. The leader asks a single, simple question. What do we actually know for certain? Silence, for one long, heavy moment. Then the scientist lays out the timeline. Minute 8. Options are placed on the table. Every option here favors restraint and caution. This room exists to slow decisions down. Not every shelter belongs to a leader. Many cities keep old shelters, still ready. A caretaker checks supplies nobody expected to use. Batteries, water, blankets. Simple, unglamorous things. These basics matter more than people realize. The caretaker unlocks the heavy door, waiting. A family is the first to arrive. The child asks a question adults dread. Are we going to be okay, Mom? She answers with more courage than she feels. We're going to be careful and together. Minute 9. The shelter door stays open. Sirens like this one have a long history. Cities first installed them generations ago. A historian named Alex Wellerstein studies this. He researches how the public learned to prepare. His research shows fear alone never works well. Clear instructions save more people than panic. That's why today's alerts are short and plain. No sirens blare uselessly in this network. Instead, a written message reaches your pocket. It tells you exactly where to go and exactly what to bring along. Decades of research shaped these 12 words. Minute 10. Millions of phones now glow red. Back in your car, the alert finally loads. Words appear, plain and impossible to misread. Seek shelter now. Move away from windows. You look up. Which way is shelter? A sign down the block, one you've passed daily. Funny how invisible it was until now. You leave the car. You start walking fast. Other drivers do exactly the same thing. A strange kind of order inside the fear. No one pushes. No one shouts, yet drills you barely remember suddenly feel useful. Minute 11. You're no longer just a driver. You're one more person moving toward shelter. Around you, an entire street is emptying. Across town, a family sits down to dinner. The alert interrupts before the first bite. Dad reads it out loud, voice cracking. Mom is already moving toward the basement door. The youngest child starts to cry, scared. The older sibling grabs her hand gently. It's okay. We practiced this at school. Dad grabs the flashlight from the drawer. Mom carries the family's emergency kit downstairs. The basement isn't fancy. It's still safe. They sit close, closer than usual, tonight. Dad turns the battery radio on, softly. A familiar calm voice fills the room. Minute 12. This family is together, waiting. Not everyone reaches shelter at the same pace. An old man struggles with his cane. A stranger stops, offers her arm instead. Kindness, oddly, moves faster than fear here. A dog barks, sensing something is wrong. Its owner scoops it up and runs. A cyclist abandons her bike against a wall. Every choice right now is the same choice. Get somewhere solid. Get there quickly. A shopkeeper flips his sign to closed. He locks up, then joins the crowd. For these minutes, everyone shares one goal. Minute 13. The street is nearly empty now. In a studio downtown, a red light blinks. The anchor gets the signal, you're live. We interrupt this program with urgent news. His voice stays level. His hands do not. Behind the scenes, producers scramble for facts. Verify twice. Never air a guess. A map appears on screen behind David. He explains only what officials have confirmed. Please remain calm. Follow local instructions. Across the city, screens turn to him. For a moment, a whole city watches together. Minute 14. One broadcast, 1 million viewers. Out past the city, a small radio station hums. The DJ was mid-song when the alert came. He cuts the music without a second thought. This is not a test. Please listen closely. Farmers in their trucks turn up the volume. A trucker pulls onto the shoulder to listen. Out here, radio still reaches where phones can't. Marcus reads the instructions calmly, twice through. His voice is the only calm thing around. Families in farmhouses gather around old radios. Minute 15. The countryside listens as one. School let out 20 minutes ago, luckily. But an after-school program still runs late. The teacher's phone buzzes on her desk. She doesn't panic. She's trained for this. Everyone, it's time for our safe spot. Children file into the hallway, practiced and quick. One child asks if this is real. The teacher answers honestly, but gently. Yes, and you know exactly what to do. They settle into the school's interior hallway. Away from windows, away from the wall's edges. The teacher counts every single child, twice. Minute 16. Every child here is accounted for. Miles away, traffic thickens on the highway. Drivers heard the alert through their speakers too. Some pull toward overpasses. Others keep driving. An overpass isn't real shelter, and drivers sense it. A trucker remembers his company's safety training. He radios other truckers with a simple message. Nearest solid building, 2 exits down. A convoy of trucks exits together, orderly. Cars behind them follow the same instinct. A strange, quiet convoy forms in minutes. No one honks. No one cuts anyone off. Minute 17. The highway empties toward shelter. Downtown, a glass office tower still hums with work. The alert hits every desk phone at once. A young intern freezes at her desk. A building manager's voice comes over speakers. Please proceed calmly to the interior stairwell. Elevators are avoided. Stairwells are safer, always. The intern grabs her co-worker's sleeve, scared. You've got this. Just follow the line. Down they go, floor after floor, together. On the ground floor, security holds doors open. The tower's interior core becomes a shelter. Minute 18. 1,000 office workers, safe inside. At the city hospital, the alert changes everything. Dr. Alvarez looks up from a patient chart. Hospitals have a plan for exactly this. Clear the non-urgent beds. Prepare for more. Every hallway becomes a staging area, fast. Dr. Alvarez calls in every off-duty nurse. Blood bank staff check every unit twice. Generators are tested, just to be certain. A backup for the backup, just in case. Outside, ambulances line up, engines idling. Paramedic Jordan checks his kit one more time. Whatever comes next, they'll be ready first. Minute 19. The hospital holds its breath. In a quiet apartment, an old radio crackles. Leo and Ruth have lived through drills before. This one feels different, and they both know it. Leo remembers his own childhood drills, faintly. We knew this day might come, someday. Ruth pulls an old emergency kit from the closet. Some things you keep for 50 years and used. Until, suddenly, they matter again. They move to the apartment's interior bathroom. No windows here, just thick, solid walls. Ruth holds Leo's hand, steady and warm. Minute 20. 2 lifetimes of memory, waiting together. Underground, a subway platform fills with people. Word spreads faster than any single announcement. A station worker's voice crackles overhead. Remain on this platform. You are safest here. Underground already means thick walls above you. A busker stops mid-song, guitar still in hand. He starts playing again, softer, calmer now. Music does something announcements alone cannot. Strangers sit shoulder to shoulder, oddly close. A teenager offers her earbuds to a stranger. Small kindnesses fill the space fear leaves behind. The platform grows crowded, but stays calm. Minute 21. Underground, a city waits together. Not everyone hears about this from a phone. In a small-town diner, the TV does the job. A waitress freezes mid-pour, coffee overflowing slightly. Every head in the diner turns to the screen. The cook steps out from behind the counter, worried. An old regular customer knows this diner well. There's a cellar downstairs, used to store supplies. The waitress unlocks the cellar door, hands trembling. Customers file down the narrow wooden steps together. Someone brings the coffee pot down too, unthinkingly. Small habits stay, even when everything else changes. The diner's regulars become something like family, briefly. Minute 18. A town's diner becomes its shelter. Not every city faces the same risk tonight. A coastal city watches the horizon nervously. A harbor worker secures the boats quickly. Inland, a farming town feels strangely distant. Distance doesn't erase the fear, only delays it. A farmer still gathers his family inside. Every household, coastal or inland, does the same thing. Check on neighbors. Gather the family close. Turn on whatever radio still has power. Distance changes the risk, not the fear. Every community, this hour, becomes the same story. Minute 22. Fear knows no distance tonight. Historian Alex Wellerstein has studied this fear for years. He built a public tool mapping hypothetical effects. Not to frighten people, but to inform them. He says understanding replaces helpless dread, often. Knowing the systems exist changes how you feel. His research traces decades of near misses carefully. Each near miss taught someone a lesson. Those lessons became checklists, protocols, and hotlines. The very systems working around you right now. Progress, he says, is slow and unglamorous. But progress is exactly why you have minutes. Minutes earlier generations never had it all. Minute 23. History is still writing itself. Back in the Situation Room, the table falls quiet. The leader must weigh options no one envies. Every choice here carries enormous weight. The hotline call adds one crucial detail. This appears to be a limited, isolated launch. Not the start of something larger, probably. Radar shows a path already in motion. There is no way to call it back now. The leader's job shifts, right in this instant. From preventing this, to protecting people now. Order every city in range, shelter immediately. And do not retaliate. Not yet. Not blindly. Restraint, even now, remains the room's whole strategy. Minute 25. Somewhere, minutes are running out. In a distant city, an alert reaches phones too. This city has only minutes, not an hour. There's no time for a shelter walk today. Get low. Get inside. Get away from glass. A shopkeeper pulls his family into the storeroom. An apartment building empties into its stairwell. A young couple holds each other, wordless. Somewhere, a radio announcer keeps calmly talking. Her voice is the last steady thing many hear. This is what the last minute looks like. Not chaos. Mostly, people holding each other. Minute 28. The count reaches its hardest moment. This part of the story is the hardest. It's told simply and without graphic detail. Far off, on the horizon, a light appears. Brighter, for a moment, than the afternoon sun. Then the light fades, and the sky changes. Miles away, windows shake, though nothing is thrown. Screens across the region simply go dark. Power lines flicker, then fail, one by one. Cell towers lose their signal, entirely, at once. For the systems, this is what impact means. For the people there, the systems simply stop. Everything you relied on goes quiet together. This is the system's story's hardest chapter. Minute 30. The world just changed, somewhere. In the Situation Room, screens flicker and die. Communication with the affected region goes silent. The scientist tries every backup channel available. Satellite phones, backup radios, all of it, silent. This silence is its own kind of terrible. No news, right now, is not good news. A backup relay team scrambles to reconnect. Ham radio operators, worldwide, spring into action. These volunteers exist for exactly this failure. Slowly, fragments of information start arriving. It's not much. It's still something, though. The room leans toward every crackle of static. Minute 32. The first fragments reach the room. Closer to the affected area, sirens already move. Paramedic Jordan's radio crackles with a location. Every responder here volunteered for this exact job. Fear doesn't stop them. Training does the driving. A firefighter checks his oxygen tank, twice. This is what they trained years for. Command sets up a staging area, outside the haze. Triage tents rise in careful, practiced order. Every responder knows their specific, assigned role. Coordination, not chaos, is the entire plan. Jordan's ambulance reaches the outer perimeter line. From here, On foot, the real work begins. Minute 35. Responders reach the outer edge. Back at the staging area, radios crackle constantly now. Firefighter Diaz listens for her assigned sector code. Sector codes keep chaos from becoming confusion. Each team knows exactly which streets are theirs. Diaz checks her team's faces, one by one. Everyone nods. Everyone is ready to move. They advance in a careful, practiced formation. No running. Running wastes air and attention. A colleague spots a small fire, contained quickly. Diaz radios the update back, calm and clear. Sector 4, controlled. Moving to Sector 5. Small, steady updates keep commands map accurate. Minute 36. One sector, one team, one job. In an undamaged city nearby, cameras gather quickly. The mayor steps up, notes shaking slightly. People need facts, not rumors, right now. Our hospitals are ready. Our shelters are open. She reads a list of open shelter addresses. A reporter asks the question everyone fears. How many people were in that area? We don't have full numbers yet. Please, patience. Speculating now would only cause more harm. She promises updates, every hour, without fail. Behind her, aides pass along quiet messages. The mayor nods and continues, steady still. Minute 37. The public gets its first update. Back at the shelter, the room is now packed. Maya counts heads, an old habit from teaching. Strangers share blankets without being asked. A shared thermos of tea makes its rounds. Someone starts humming, quietly, to calm a child. The caretaker checks the water supply, carefully. Rationing calmly now avoids panic rationing later. A battery radio in the corner keeps talking. Sam falls asleep against his mother's shoulder. Exhaustion, it turns out, arrives faster than fear. Around the room, faces soften, just slightly. This room has become its own small community. Minute 39. The shelter holds, steady and full. At the hospital, the first patients begin arriving. Dr. Alvarez meets each one at the door. Triage means sorting care by urgency, simply. It's a hard system, but a fair one. Nurses move fast, but never look rushed. Calm is a skill, practiced for years here. A volunteer holds a frightened child's hand. You're safe here. I'm right beside you. Dr. Alvarez hasn't sat down in an hour. Every hospital drill led to this exact night. The team moves like they've done this before. Minute 41. The hospital's system holds steady. A physician named Erwin Redliner studies exactly this. He researches how communities recover after disasters. His findings are surprisingly hopeful, again and again. Preparedness, he found, saves far more lives than luck. Communities with a plan recover noticeably faster. His research shaped how today's hospitals prepare. The drills you saw earlier came from studies like his. He's clear about one thing, though always. No community fully avoids hardship, honestly. But preparation changes hardship into something survivable. That distinction, he says, is worth every drill. His work now sits in city plans worldwide. Minute 43. Preparedness quietly does its work. Not every family is together tonight, though. A father is stuck at work, miles from home. The lines are busy. Everyone is calling someone. He tries again, and again, and again. Finally, a text goes through, slow but certain. I'm safe. I'm at your mother's house. Relief hits harder than the fear did. He isn't alone in this exact feeling. Across the region, texts finally start moving again. Not calls yet, just short, precious texts. Every one of them carries enormous weight tonight. The father finally allows himself to sit down. Minute 45. Small messages, holding families together. Online, though, a different kind of chaos grows. Rumors move faster than facts ever can. One post claims far more than anyone knows. A stranger shares it without checking, anxiously. Fact-checkers, quietly, start their own work now. They compare claims against official statements only. Slowly, false posts get honest, clear labels. It's not a perfect system, not tonight. But it slows the noise down, somewhat. The official broadcast stays the steadiest source. People start turning back toward it, gradually. Minute 47. Clarity slowly outpaces confusion. Far from the Situation Room, other leaders gather. None of them want this to spread further. A diplomat proposes an emergency joint statement. Every nation confirms, stand down, verify, wait. This kind of cooperation has real precedent. International monitoring stations quietly compare notes now. One such real network is the CTBTO. It listens for exactly these kinds of signals worldwide. Its data confirms this was a single, isolated event. That confirmation is passed to every room involved. Shared truth, right now, is the most valuable thing. Minute 49. The world, cautiously, stands down together. An atmospheric scientist named Brian Toon studies something else. He researches what smoke does high in the sky. Enough fires, he explains, can dim sunlight globally. Scientists call this idea nuclear winter, simply. One isolated event like tonight stays small, though. His research warns about a much larger scenario. Not tonight's event, but a much bigger exchange. That distinction matters enormously to scientists like him. His work is exactly why restraint matters so much. Every calm decision tonight kept the sky bright. Scientists like him quietly hope no one learns firsthand. His research exists so leaders understand the true stakes. Minute 51. The bigger picture, quietly, stays intact. Back at street level, the shelter doors open again. The immediate danger, for this city, has passed. People blink in the daylight, unsure what's next. Neighbors immediately start checking on each other. Did your family get through okay today? Small errands become acts of quiet care. A teenager mows an elderly neighbor's lawn, unasked. No one asked him to. He just did. This is the part statistics rarely capture well. Community, it turns out, is its own kind of system. One that runs on care instead of code. Streets slowly refill with people helping people. Minute 53. The community rebuilds itself, gently. Word of the event spreads to nearby towns fast. People line up before anyone even asks them. A retired nurse offers her decades of experience. A teenager organizes water bottles into careful crates. Blood donation trucks fill up within the hour. Local bakers send trays of food, unasked. None of this was ordered. It just happened. Disaster researchers have a name for this pattern. They call it the helping surge, quite fittingly. It happens after nearly every hard event, reliably. Kindness, statistically, is the more common human response. That fact rarely makes the news, somehow. Minute 55. Volunteers already outnumber the need. Back in the Situation Room, a screen flickers alive. Power crews reached a backup relay station. One connection restores an entire region's signal. Slowly, camera feeds return, one by one. The room sees the affected area for the first time. Damage is real, but contained to one area. Emergency crews are already visible on screen, working. The scientist exhales, shoulders dropping with relief. It could have been so much worse tonight. The leader allows himself one long breath. The room doesn't celebrate. It keeps working. Minute 57. Information finally outruns fear again. Every system you've seen tonight shares one purpose. Buy people minutes. Minutes that save lives. None of it prevents every possible hardship. But tonight, it clearly changed the outcome. A family reached a basement in time. A hospital had beds ready before they were needed. A leader chose restraint instead of escalation. None of these choices happened by accident. They happened because people built these systems deliberately. Built by researchers, engineers, and ordinary volunteers. Built, quietly, over many decades of hard lessons. Tonight, All of it worked exactly as intended. Minute 58. The systems held, and so did people. 60 minutes ago, this was an ordinary afternoon. Now, an hour has changed almost everything. One region grieves and begins to rebuild. Millions of others return, slowly, to their evenings. The family in the basement climbs the stairs. Dinner, somehow, is still sitting on the table. No one has much appetite, understandably, tonight. They sit together anyway. That matters more. Leo and Ruth step out of their bathroom shelter. 50 years of emergency kits, finally used once. Some tools you keep and hope never to need. Minute 59. Ordinary evenings, cautiously, resume. By now, officials tally the night's true toll. It's smaller than the initial dread suggested, thankfully. One area suffered real, lasting damage tonight. Every other alert, worldwide, ended in relief. Disaster researchers track numbers like these carefully, always. They study what worked and what nearly failed. Every close call becomes tomorrow's improved checklist. This is how the field slowly gets better. Not through comfort, but through honest review. A researcher reviews tonight's timeline, item by item. Warning time, within target. Shelter uptake, excellent. Communication gap, noted. Needs improvement, clearly. Every flaw tonight becomes tomorrow's fixed weakness. Minute 61. The review already quietly begins. That red phone from earlier has a real history. In 1963, after a very tense standoff, it began. Two nations, once, came dangerously close to disaster. Afterward, both sides agreed, never again blindly. A direct line, they decided, might prevent it. It started as a teletype, clattering and slow. Today, it's faster, but the purpose stays identical. Ask first, understand first, escalate only last. Tonight, that 60-year-old idea did its job again. A simple idea, built from a genuine near disaster. Sometimes the best systems come from real fear. Minute 60. History quietly proved itself, once more. Around the globe, monitoring stations never stopped listening. Real networks like this exist today, quietly working. They listen for signals human eyes would miss. Scientists at these stations shared data openly, always. Trust between strangers, built one shared reading at a time. Tonight, this network confirmed the event's true scale quickly. That confirmation reached decision-makers within minutes. Speed, here, came from decades of quiet cooperation. No single country built this network alone. It only works because everyone keeps contributing. Cooperation, tonight, was its own quiet kind of defense. This hour proved that defense works, gently. You might wonder what your own role could be. You don't need to build a hotline, thankfully. But small preparation still makes a real difference. Know your nearest solid shelter location, simply. Keep a flashlight where you can find it. Agree on a family meeting point, in advance. Talk with your kids about staying calm, gently. These conversations feel small until they matter enormously. Real researchers, like the ones in this story, agree. Preparation isn't fear. It's simply readiness. It's the quiet confidence of knowing your plan. That confidence is available to absolutely everyone. Back in the studio, David prepares his final update. His hands have finally stopped shaking, mostly. Tonight tested every system built for this moment. Most of them, it's fair to say, held strong. One area now begins a long recovery. Our thoughts stay with them tonight, sincerely. For the rest of us, an ordinary evening resumes. David sets down his papers, voice softening. Take care of each other tonight, please. Hug your family a little longer, maybe. The red on-air light finally clicks off. Behind the camera, the crew exhales together, quietly. Minute 63. The broadcast, gently, comes to rest. Later that evening, the family washes dishes together. Sam asks his sister about the school drills again. She explains it simply, without any drama. We practice so we don't have to think. We just move, like you already know how. Sam nods slowly, turning the idea over. That makes sense, actually. Kind of like riding a bike. Dad overhears and smiles, quietly proud. Mom turns the porch light on, out of habit. Outside, the street looks almost exactly like this morning. Almost. Something has shifted quietly underneath it. The family closes the curtains and settles in. It's worth pausing before the story fully closes. Tonight could have unfolded so differently, honestly. A single delayed phone call, a single skipped check. Any one of those might have changed everything. Instead, dozens of small, careful choices lined up. An analyst who trusted her training completely. A leader who chose patience over impulse. A teacher who drilled her class again and again. A stranger who offered an arm on the street. None of them felt heroic in their own moment. Together, though, their choices changed the whole night. That's the quiet lesson underneath this whole story. Small, steady choices, repeated, are their own kind of strength. Think back to that ordinary afternoon now. You driving home, sunlight, a song playing. You didn't know, then, what the systems were doing. Watching, verifying, preparing, quietly, in the background. You didn't have to know, and that's the point. Good systems work quietly, so you don't have to worry. Tonight, though, you saw behind the curtain. You saw the operators, the leaders, the responders. The families, the strangers, the quiet volunteers. All of them, part of the same wide circle. The same circle that was protecting you, then. It's still protecting you now, every ordinary day. So here's the truth about that ordinary afternoon. It could have gone very differently, honestly. It didn't, because people built something remarkable. Quiet networks, careful checklists, ordinary human kindness. Layered together, minute by minute, for 60 minutes straight. That is what really happens, in the end. Not just danger, also readiness, courage, and care. It's an ordinary afternoon. You're driving home, still. And somewhere, quietly, the whole world is watching over you.